Now more than ever, innovative technologies are fueling change and sparking new ways of thinking. Collaboration between corporations and startups is key to staying at the forefront of these trends. However, finding the right startups can be expensive, time-consuming, and ineffective. But Plug and Play is here to help. As a corporate partner, you will gain access to a whole ecosystem of innovation. Discover startups that meet your tech interests. Stay updated on the latest trends and network with industry peers. We will help you during every stage of your innovation journey, no matter where you are and where you want to go. Get in touch today.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Day 3 of our APAC Summit. My name is Jade, and I'm the Food AgTech Ventures Analyst from the Bangkok office. Thank you for taking time to join us as we kick off APAC Summit 6.0, one of our largest events here in the region. We're looking forward to hosting you as we feature our batch startups, program overview, keynotes, and panels as part of our ultimate innovation platform. To officially kickstart our event, it is my pleasure to introduce our Food and AgTech Program Manager and my colleague, Per Wongkasit, to share more about our food innovation platform here in Asia Pacific.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our Food and AgTech Demo Day. My name is Per Wongkasit, and I lead our Food and AgTech program for Asia Pacific. It is my great pleasure and honor to welcome our agri-food corporate partners, startups, and stakeholders in our ecosystem who are dialing in for the startup pitches today. Before we start, I would like to provide you more insight into our program and why there is such a great value to join our plug-and-play food ecosystem here in the Asia Pacific. The vertical was launched back in 2017 in the heart of Silicon Valley, and since then we have expanded to 10 locations around the world. With more than 30 food and beverage corporate partners and more than 4,000 food and AgTech startups in our ecosystem, we have accelerated over 200 startups and invested in 22 startups to date. So with more startups emerging in the scene, Plug and Play's open innovation platform can enable all stakeholders to drive the adoption of food and AgTech innovation faster than before. Essentially, it is our mission to source and engage the most disruptive startups to the largest corporations that can offer sustainable solutions across the entire food value chain. We have worked with our corporate partners for the last 3 months. They have given us the key focus areas, and through that, we selected 10 startups through which we have been working collaboratively with them. And during this accelerator program, our core partners have been exploring pilot opportunities with the startups. And from Plug and Play perspective, we have been hosting a number of events and activities, including the Investor Day, mentor sessions, and regional meetups, focusing on the agri-fintech for smallholder farmers and the future of personalized nutrition. And these are the adjacent focus areas that we have worked on the innovation journey with our corporate partners so far. As you can see, it is across the entire food and agricultural value chain, starting from the upstream AgTech smart farm management all the way to downstream, including the prediction in retail through data analytics and Internet of Things solutions. Once again, we hope this summit will provide a glimpse of what we can achieve together, and we hope you enjoyed.
Thank you, Per. Up next, it is my pleasure to introduce to you our food corporate partner, Curry Group, one of the leading players in the global food and beverage industry. We have Parth Patel, Vice President of Marketing for Asia Pacific, Middle East, and African market, who will share more insight about consumer behavior trends shaping the future of food and the shift towards sustainability. Let's all welcome Parth.
Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Parth Patel, and I am the VP of Marketing for Kerry Group in Asia Pacific, Middle East, and Africa. And today I will be talking to you about a topic which is very close to many of our hearts, sustainability in food and beverages in the region. This is what I'm going to cover for the next 15-20 minutes or so. I will talk a little bit about Kerry, then share a bit about our Beyond the Horizon strategy, which is all about sustainability. Then I'm going to share a very interesting piece of research we have done recently. In fact, I got access to this research only 2 days back, so it's really hot off the press. This is a consumer research around sustainability that we have done across about 30 countries globally and covering about 20,000 consumers. And I will share some snippets, not by country, not by category, but at a higher level, what sustainability means to the consumers in Asia, Pacific, Middle East, and Africa. And, when it comes to making choices, how does this have an impact on the decision making? And then finally, look, if there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. So maybe a bit about Kerry to begin with. On this chart, you see the consumer on the left side, right? So we have many food and beverage manufacturers, many food service channels who sell to consumers like you and me. And that could be through DTC, that could be through grocery, retailers, etc. We are not a B2C company, right? We are a B2B organization in the sense we have that orange circle in the middle where we sell value-added ingredients and solutions to our customers, who could be a food and beverage manufacturer, or it could be a QSR or a food service channel. And the kind of solutions that we sell are linked to either taste, which means flavors, botanicals, extracts, could be around nutrition, like proteins, probiotics, etc., or could be around our texture solutions, right? So we help our food and beverage manufacturers, our food service channel customers to make food which tastes better and is much more nutritious. We operate in a 75 billion euro global market roughly. These are global numbers, and the key categories that we focus on, especially in this region, are snacks, meat, dairy, and beverages. So we help to solve, our customers, and many of are actually in this call. We help them solve many challenges, and those challenges could be linked to a taste, could be nutrition, could be texture, it could be a cleaner label solution or processing challenges. I mean, that's the kind of work that we do with our ingredient solutions, working with these manufacturers and the QSRs to deliver brands and products that we as consumers love to eat. Now, coming back to the topic of the day and sharing a little bit about our Beyond the Horizon sustainability strategy. In this, we have an ambition. We have an ambition to reach 2 billion consumers by the year 2030 and provide them with nutritionally optimized solutions through our portfolio, through our innovation centers, and making sure that we are sustainable while we are doing it. So our goal is not to sell to consumers, like I said, but to work with customers and co-create products which are good for the planet, for the consumers, and for the society, and it's something that we love to have. So these are some of our goals in summary. Look, I won't go through the details, but the broader picture is that as an organization, we are fairly serious about sustainability in everything we do. In fact, over 80% of the SKUs that we sell are actually either good in nutrition or they are balanced, right? 80% are good or balanced. And the remaining 20% that are not, which contribute to like less than 10% of our revenues, is something that we're looking to nutritionally optimize as we go into the future. We believe as a global leader in taste and nutrition, these kind of goals are important because they not only help the consumers, they not only help our customers, but they are also something which we believe is good for the community and the planet. So back to the research process, which I will share in the research insights that I will share in a while. This is a quick background. And like I said, this came to me a couple of days back. It's quite fresh. Some of the data points might change, but broadly speaking, the direction that I will share in this presentation will remain the same, right? So like I said, we interviewed about 20,000 consumers in 30 countries. 14 countries were from our region, which is Asia Pacific, Middle East, and Africa. And we did various quantitative and qualitative surveys to understand what does sustainability mean to a consumer in the region, in the different categories across snacks, meats, beverages, etc. And what do consumers look for when they're making purchasing decisions, and how is that linked to sustainability? So this is something that we found out from the research and the insights, is that the consumer today that we are seeing in the region is much more sophisticated, right? Earlier, it used to be a lot about choices, but today the consumer is a lot more demanding. Maybe the pandemic has kind of accelerated that shift, but we are seeing a consumers asking for, I want good taste, I want it to be good for the planet. It needs to be sustainable. It needs to be good for me. So functionally, it needs to be good. And it has to be make sure that it's locally sourced, it's GMO free, it's cleaner label, etc., etc. Depending on the consumers that we spoke to, you have different needs, but the consumers overall per se are much more sophisticated. They are demanding a lot more from companies like yours and mine, and this is something that we have to make sure that we step up while we are trying to meet the demands of these consumers. And I feel those brands that can meet the needs of this demanding consumer will definitely win over the longer term than the ones who will compromise one of these value propositions. So if I kind of give you an executive summary, this is a global executive summary, and then I'll come down to the region. Broadly speaking, and this is maybe no news for many of us, is sustainability is no longer just a fad or a trend. It's getting much more mainstream, and it's getting mainstream quicker than we can imagine. And like I said, the pandemic might have played a role, but like I said, the evolution of the consumers, the expansion of the internet technology, where information is available to hundreds of millions of emerging consumers in Asia, all of this has played a role. And consumers, like I said, are demanding the brands, the products that they consume, embed sustainability at different levels. What this means for a consumer in Indonesia versus Japan versus China, India, Australia, or Africa might be different. But the consumers are actually asking brands, they're saying, look, if you want me to buy your product, you got to make sure that these things are embedded into your product. So what we find out was that sustainability is at two levels. You have the internal factors that drive demand, and then you have the external factors that drive demand. What we realized is that the external factors are increasingly becoming table stakes, right? Maybe in some countries it's not, in some it's there, but broadly speaking, they're increasingly becoming a lot more table stakes. What do the external factors mean? It means the impact on the environment, the packaging, the human rights, the community development, etc. The emerging need states are actually more on the internal piece, right? Internal means it's all about more nutrition, fortification, clean label claims, food waste, etc. These kind of claims are far more emerging in some of the developing markets in Asia, and the external ones are almost mainstream, where now consumers are saying, look, you got to make sure that this is not having an impact on the planet. Yeah? So this is broadly what we are seeing from the consumers who we've spoken with. And coming back to the topic, like what does sustainability actually mean, right, to a consumer? Again, we have this information by country, by category. Here I've just kind of put the whole thing together, because like I said, this is focusing at a macro level. So broadly speaking, there are four things that we found out what sustainability actually means to a consumer in Asia, Pacific, Middle East, and Africa. Number one, most of them are keen on health and nutrition, right? So fortification, better nutrition, healthier, cleaner than what it was in the past. Most of them are keen about food waste, making sure there's lesser waste, and we're seeing this quite often. And I like to give this example, whenever I talk about food waste, is my 9-year-old boy. Last year when he was 8, actually, when he came back from school, they had a conversation about food waste in the class, and he came home and he said, you know what, Papa, there are the way I eat my food every day from now on is going to change. And I said, like, what's going to change? He said, no, I'm going to eat smaller portions. I said, yeah, why are you going to eat smaller portions? He said, because I don't want to waste any more food. I want to make sure that I eat as much as I want and not waste even a single grain on my plate. Right? Now, these are young boys and girls who are talking about this. So the awareness levels have definitely gone up, and which means that a lot of consumers are now increasingly concerned about food waste. And we know all the big numbers, right? A third of the products are wasted, etc., etc. But now people are now putting their money behind those brands which are not causing waste. Food production practices are important, and the last one being environment preservation. So though it means different things to different people, we saw at a very high level, these are the four factors that came out across many of the consumers that we spoke with. And the key drivers of sustainability, it's all about being personal. So, preserving natural resources was very important. While taking care of my own health is important, making sure I don't damage the environment, that's also key. And making sure that I pass on a better planet and an atmosphere for the future generations, right? Increasingly, we're seeing a lot of awareness around this, and consumers are are demanding that the brands that they consume embed some of these things into that product. Now, the interesting piece was that the top 3 key reasons, they remain fairly consistent across the 15 markets that we surveyed, and overall we felt that consumers, and we surveyed both rural, not rural, but we surveyed urban and the tier 1 consumers. We found that the level of awareness has definitely gone up. Then what we did was, when we looked at the data and we were analyzing it, we found out that there were, broadly speaking, 4 segments of consumers that emerged from this research, right? We call them front runners. These are, you can call as the early adopters or the advocates, right? Then you have the followers. They are the ones basically who are moderately involved, but they're kind of watching. They're waiting and watching. Maybe a bit on the fence, yeah? A little bit on the fence, leaning towards jumping into the sustainability pool. Then you have the passives, the people like who are not really concerned, and they're basically right on top of the wall. And then you have the inactive ones. And for many of the inactive ones, price is actually a strong barrier, right? And if you further break it down and you try and put some personas behind it, right? This is basically how it looked like. Front runners typically tend to be women, married, slightly older millennials, so have children and are probably working full time. And they are the ones who are driving the change, right? On the other side, you have the inactives, who typically tend to be men in this case, older millennials, could be married, have a kid, and they're probably working full time. So when I kind of read this this description, it felt like that was me that they were talking to. But jokes aside, the inactives are relatively low on intent, and like I said, price could be a barrier for many of these guys. They could be concerned, but price is a challenge that they don't want to work on, and they're like, you know what, we are fine doing what we are doing. And then if you break it down further, so from segments, so you break it down into different categories. Again, you will see here, the color coding might not be visible, but the brown stands for the environment, the red stands for food production, the blue stands for health and nutrition. And you'll see the top 3 across the different categories are fairly similar. They're not very different. The 1, 2, and 3 might differ, but broadly speaking, these are the key trends that we saw by category. Now, if you break it down by country, some things will pop out, some things will pop back in, but this is essentially where we are seeing the dominant concerns by the consumers are fairly consistent. And food waste tend to comes up in a couple of categories like meals or bakery. And if I bring it down a bit more into one category, beverages, for instance, so importance of sustainability is there across all the categories. You can see on the left in the chart, right? If from dairy to alcoholic beverages, dairy is the highest, maybe rightly so. Alcoholic beverages is the lowest. But if we talk about beverages specifically, and you see, and you have the personas in the top on the x-axis, and you have the sustainability criteria association on the y-axis, you will see that public hygiene and sanitation is very important for many of the consumers. The front runners are green across all of it. The inactives are red across all of it. I mean, that's by definition. But then you have the passives and the followers who are kind of a bit in a mixed bag, where they are not really concerned, but they are concerned, and they kind of trying to follow the lead of the front runners, right? If you look at a further deep dive into categories, like I said, dairy is the key category where we saw a lot of consumers talking about sustainability. Fresh meats, not surprisingly, and then dairy alternatives, right? Now, the interest in dairy runs across all the segments, right? So, like the beverages one you saw was only mainly on the actives, but the dairy, sustainability around dairy cuts across all the 4 segments. For the inactives, there is not much, interest in baked goods, but the response was quite lukewarm. Some of the other categories, and the front runners, like I said, they are interested in sustainability across all categories, but the highest level was in fresh meats. Now, let's look at some of the key barriers. This is my last chart before I wrap up. Some of the key barriers that are stopping consumers from making that push or making the drive towards more sustainable products and brands in the daily purchase, right? So many of them said, a third of them actually said they don't have sufficient knowledge, right? They don't have the right amount of knowledge to make a decision and say, look, you know what, I'll prefer this brand over the other because of X, Y, Z reasons. Many of them spoke about landfill They say, look, when you talk about the environment, I'm not even sure where this thing goes, right? And the credibility factor was also quite high. So the lack of trust, the lack of transparency, the opaqueness, many of them said, look, I don't know whom to trust. Should I trust the government? Should I trust the brands? Should I trust the regulator? Should I trust the activists? I don't know. There is so much information out there that it makes it difficult for me to make a decision based on the noise that I'm seeing. Well, trust remains important as a key barrier to adopting sustainability practices into the decision-making criteria. And then we said, look, which are the key regions that we are seeing, these factors coming in? And you see some of them on the chart. Australia, Middle East, North Africa. It's more about education. Sub-Saharan Africa and Southeast Asia was a lot about lack of resources to recycling. But for most of the regions, actually, price was an important barrier, right? Again, not surprisingly so. We know in the markets that we work in, price, is important. And for many of the consumers, who live on the borderline, paying an extra buck or two just because it's green, it's not gonna wash the cut, right? It has to deliver a value which goes way beyond it. So price is an important barrier, but that's something that we as an industry, we as the large organizations should keep in mind while we are designing sustainability into our value propositions. Look, in 15 minutes, I tried to share a lot. We have a lot more information available about about the different countries, or the different categories, the different kinds of consumers, the 4 personas that I spoke about. We have lots more detailed information that we can share. And what does this mean for a consumer from a sustainability point of view across the markets in Asia Pacific, Middle East, Latin America, Europe, and the US. So look, if you're keen, please log on to our site and you'll be able to get those resources. Look, with that, I end my short discussion on sustainability. I hope you found it useful. If there are any questions, I'll be glad to take them. Thank you.
Now let's hear from our amazing startups who have been working closely with us for these 3 months. During the first half of these pitches, we'll be featuring startups that focus mainly on smart farming solutions and supply chain. Startups focusing on smart farming include Mimosa Tech, Smart Farm Sensing, and Sensix. For food supply chain, we have Optimizer AI Solutions, Voltstone, and inaugural. And to bring up our very first startup, Mimosa Tech. Mimosa Tech is a sustainable agriculture trading business partner of farmers and wholesale buyers. Please welcome Lana from Mimosa Tech.
Hello everyone, I am Lanan, CFO of Mimosa Tech. Mimosa Tech is a leading AgTech company in Vietnam since 2014, and we are building a sustainable trading business in agriculture, which I'm very excited to share with you today. First, let's start with the problems of the agricultural supply chain. There are 2 main problems, the intermediary and the profitability problems. There are so many layers between the key players in the chain, such as the farmers and the wholesale buyers. This will reduce the efficiency and the profitability of the chain. In addition, the traditional farming practice and business have low yield, low quality, high cost, and high waste. Therefore, Mimosa Tech wants to solve both problems by directly connecting the farmers and the wholesale buyers. We will replace the multiple layers of middlemen and become a single trading partner between the farmers and the wholesale buyers. By working directly with the farmers, we use our data-driven farming practice and business to help the farmers increase the yield, increase the quality, and reduce the cost, which in turn will increase the profitability of the whole chain. The customers include 3 segments: wholesale buyers of vegetables, the farmers, and the input material suppliers. The revenue streams will come from the sales of agricultural produce, the sales of data-driven farming practice, and commission from distributing input materials. Our target market is the Vietnam vegetable market. The domestic Vietnam wholesale vegetable market is valued up to $3.6 billion per year, and the export market for fruit and vegetable is up to $3.3 billion per year. Hence, Vietnam is a large enough market for us to start our business. The competition is indeed intense in this market. However, most of the competitors only focus on the intermediary problem. They increase the profit by trying to buy low and sell high. They are not interested in working with the farmers to improve the yield. Therefore, our business model is better and more sustainable because we're working directly with the farmers to increase the yield and quality. This is based on the foundation of our long-established agricultural technology. We have been building technologies such as Internet of Things and data-driven farming practice since 2014. This sets us apart from other competitors in the vegetable trading business. We started this vegetable trading business in September 2020 and have seen significant growth in this segment. The September 2021 monthly revenue increased 3,000% compared with the monthly revenue of September 2020 when we started. Our founding team is experienced and passionate about agriculture, business, and technology. Cathy Venture is our lead investor since 2016. The company is valued at $10 million. In order for us to grow the business, we are calling for investment of $1 million for 10% of shareholding. And I'm very happy to discuss with you all about the investment opportunity in Mimosa Tech. Thank you very much.
Our second startup is another startup in the agritech space, which provides a one-stop shop ag data analysis and decision-making platform for food producers. A platform that aggregates any sensor, satellite, or field data, which supports food producers to help sustainable production and increase productivity. Let's now hear it from Lawrence of Smart Farm Sensing.
Welcome to the pitch of Smart Farm Sensing about holistic agriculture intelligence. My name is Laurens Bierens and I'm founder and CEO. What we do. Pest and water scarcity are by far the main threats for the global food production. So to feed the increasing world population, we need to transform the global agriculture system and to improve its productivity. That's why we developed AgriIoT, a one-stop shop data analytics and decision-making platform for food producers to increase their agriculture productivity. To date, an overwhelming multitude of data sources is available for food producers, from satellites, IoT sensors, drones, field observations, etc. Because of the massive data amounts, it is impossible to distinguish the right data from different sources for desired purposes. AgriIoT fuses individual data supply chains, including apps and dashboards, and enables food producers the full control of their data analytics and decision-making supply chain. And unlike our competitors, AgriIoT is non-discriminating in sensors, data, and vendors, and eliminates the need of many platforms and many apps. Our initial target market is the high-value fruit tree sector in the Middle East, which is already a multi-billion-dollar market on its own, constituting more than 1 billion fruit trees. Fruit trees are capital assets, and water scarcity and pest are the biggest threats to these valuable crops. And AgTech innovations are in an early stage in the tree fruit sectors, so there's a lot to win. But if new business opportunities arise, we expand the scope to other crops and regions as well. Our business model is based on a base service subscription, with additional subscription for pest monitoring, weather data, irrigation service, sensor data, etc. And in addition, we sell sensor and IoT equipment as well. Our main go-to-market strategy is to focus on food producers who source their production to SME farmers and government organizations who service their national fruit tree sectors. Typically, our clients operate or service tens of thousands individual farms. This strategy already resulted in impressive pilot projects and launching customers, such are the Abu Dhabi Agriculture and Food Safety Authority, servicing 24,000 SME farms, the Bahrain Ministry of Agriculture for the nationwide integrated pest management services, and recently Terviva, a global food tech company producing sustainable proteins from Bolgamia trees. I founded Smart Farming together with my fellow co-founder and Chief Information Officer Joost van der Gaag. After several years of developing precision date fruit farming innovations in the Gulf regions, we decided to found Smart Farm Sensing to commercialize our innovations with a grant from the European Space Agency Business Incubation Program. We operate lean and mean and work with contractors and sourcing partners. And recently we expanded our business development for the Middle East. We have a renowned heritage in our market segments and a solid technology base, including code-based patents and products. To date, we funded our product and market development ourselves. But as business is increasing, we are currently looking for investors to strengthen our organizations and to increase our marketing and sales activities. I'm happy to invite you to join us in a transformation process of the global agriculture system, so that together we can feed the world of our children. Thank you for your attention.
Next up on our list is an agtech startup called Inaugural. It is an integrated agronomic platform capable of generating prescriptions and recommendations from soil, satellite, drones, and machinery data, directly impacting crop profitability. Let's give it up for Carlos from Sensix.
Hi everyone, I'm Carlos Ribeiro, co-founder and CEO of Sensix, a Brazilian agtech company that helps farmers to take better decisions about their crop management. But before I talk about the solution, we must remember that we need to produce more food for the next 40 years than we have produced in the last 10,000 years. That gives us an idea about how exponential agriculture has to be for the next decades. The big problem is that production data is dispersed across the farm with little or no ability to guide assertive decisions, leading to operational inefficiency and wasted inputs, reducing the farmer's potential return. Sensix is the first digital platform to present a 360 view of the farmer's information flow, correlating data from satellites, drones, machinery, and soil, providing prescriptions and cross-intelligence to reduce chemical use by up to 40% and increasing up to 20% the productivity. And we do this with a very simple approach, transforming dispersed data into practical indicators and recommendations, creating a simple, very simple workflow that continually fosters decisions. This is what we call decision agriculture. With FieldScan, we deliver a complete and frictionless experience for those who need to focus on productions, the farmers. There are dozens of data layers that automatically integrate with agronomic processes inside the farms, delivering a clear and measurable return of investment. Millions of dollars have already been added in profitability to the more than 900,000 hectares monitored by Sensix in the past 4 years in Brazil and other countries in Latin America. Now, we want to multiply these benefits to producers globally. With a total market of $10 billion, we plan to expand our operations to Americas in the coming years and address a market of at least $4 billion in long term. And we trust we can conquer global market share due to several differentials of our tool, compared to current global competitors, delivering a more complete and simplified experience with a return on investment very clear. In addition, we have a more efficient distribution system, selling directly to large producers and precision agriculture consultants who also leverage the acquisition of small and medium producers, making customer acquisition and data-driven management education even more efficient and scalable. Validated and endorsed by over 60 Latin American recurring customers and a renewal rate of over 90%, we aim to become the largest and most complete decision-making tool for agriculture in the world, helping farmers and other agribusiness stakeholders to feed the planet of the future. Thank you very much.
Our fourth startup is in the supply chain space. Optimizer AI Solutions is an AI-driven demand planning and inventory optimization software, specifically tailored to the needs of the food and beverage industry. With that, let's welcome Optimizer AI Solutions.
We are Optimizer AI Solutions, and we offer an AI-driven demand planning and inventory management tool that is perfectly tailored to the needs of the food and drink industry. So what problem are we solving with our software solution? Food and drink manufacturers, they suffer from poor demand planning. And this results in two fundamental problems. On one side, they face stockout situations, meaning they cannot deliver to their customers on time or not at all. And 70% of all producers, they suffer from this problem. On the other side, we have overproduction, leading to food waste. And more than 2.5 billion tons of food are thrown away every year by food and drink manufacturers. So the question is, why is this still a problem in this industry? Why is it still not solved? And the simple answer to that is Excel. So the majority of food and drink manufacturers, they still use Excel as primary demand planning tool. And don't get me wrong, Excel works, of course, but it's just a simple statistical tool. It doesn't make use of the technological potential we have today. So based on those pain points, and also the fact that especially small and medium-sized companies have not the financial resources and also not the technological capabilities to come up with really accurate predictions, we developed a software solution that is a state-of-the-art, all-in-one AI and supply chain department. It can be integrated with any ERP system, doesn't matter if it's SAP, Oracle, or Accenture, and more importantly, you will receive automated order recommendations. So our tool will provide you with the exact demand of your products for the next days, for the next weeks, and for the next months. Let's have a look at the market. So we have 300,000 food and drink manufacturers in total in Europe. 99% of them are small and medium-sized enterprises. And 70% of them face stockout situations or suffer from poor demand prediction accuracy. And therefore, we have a target audience only in Europe of 208,000 customers. So let's have a look also how we differ from our competitors in the market. So we developed a state-of-the-art AI technology that enables us to 25% more accurate predictions than our competitors. And in addition, we are the only company who really specializes on the food and drink industry. So we know exactly the pain points of our customers and incorporate them in our software solution. Let's have a closer look at our technological USP. So if you look here on the left side, you see a time-consuming manual process that is conducted by our competitors today. It's from data analysis over the selection of best algorithms over the performance review. And we automated this entire process with our in-house developed technology. This means you will have 25% more accurate forecast than all the other tools on the market. Automated decision taking, there's no prior AI and supply chain management knowledge needed, and consequently you will get also better inventory management. So that it works not only in theory, but also in practice shows this example of one of our customers. We could achieve with them a prediction accuracy of 95%, a workload reduction of 90%, and reduced inventory cost of 36%. And there we can see how much cost they will save by using our tool. Our team is a really good mix out of young entrepreneurs like Edis, Enrico, and me, with a tech background, but also very experienced senior advisors like Professor Dieter Kempf, the former CEO of DATEV, one of the largest software companies in Germany, or Professor Klaus Schmidt, who is one of the leading professors in logistics and supply chain management. And of course, to bring also their experience into their team. And we work together with several customers in Europe, smaller customers like Edu, Keto-Fabrik, Löwen, Anteil, but also medium-sized companies like Hammermühle. And we are in 2 accelerator programs working together with one Dutch VC who only focuses on food and drink industry called Clever Clover. And we are developing right now with the Technical University of Munich a state-of-the-art inventory management tool that will complement our demand planning tool that is right now in use at our customers.
Hitting the halfway mark. For our 5th startup, we have Voltstone. Voltstone is a machine vision system that tracks and reduces waste in food factories. With that, let's hear it from Inigo of Voltstone.
Hi, this is Inigo, CEO at Boston. Let us introduce Boston to you. Food manufacturing represents 2% of the GDP in Spain, where we are based, and the food industry is one of the largest worldwide. However, even though supermarkets or big corporates are digitalized, food factories are not. There is a big inefficiency in their processes because they don't collect data. Specifically, they waste millions on food and plastic waste. This is what we are solving at Boston. We are building a robust solution that reduces food and plastic waste in factories. How do we achieve that? Our solution uses algorithms that detect error during the production process. That gives the factory the opportunity to solve the problem without it extending in time, saving tons of waste and a lot of money that way. The data is analyzed and shown on an intuitive platform that allows for real-time alerts and analytics on production lines. We are doing this through computer vision cameras and IoT sensors we install in critical points of the production process. Our business model is simple. We are a SaaS B2B for food factories. First, we charge the factory an upfront fee, which covers the whole service for the first year. This includes the installation of the cameras and access to our dashboard. After the first year, the client pays an annual subscription, which includes performance every quarter, assistance, and the data storage. Let me show you a couple of examples of different factories we are working with. We are helping this pineapple factory reduce their food waste by this system which detects the quality of the pineapple. On this one, we are working with a crisp factory, detecting their plastic waste and measuring the production in real time. We just raised our first investment round, and our goal is to extend the tech team. That will give us the opportunity to extend our technical use cases and get new clients. Let me introduce you to the team behind. Harold is our product manager. His entire career has been working as a product manager for different B2B startups. Pablo has worked at several investment banks, overseeing numerous funding rounds and M&A. Romana has worked as a marketing manager at large technology companies in London and Toronto. Karim has worked as an industrial engineer and software developer for large consultancies in France and Spain. Pablo is an intern who is working as an electrical engineer and IoT expert. And myself, I have multiple years of experience leading major accounts team for companies like Microsoft in London. These two people behind are investors who are helping us on the development of the product and sales strategies. We are Bolton, and we are here to help you increase the profitability and sustainability of food factories.
Exploring food freshness technology, we have inaugural, our sixth startup. Creates formulas from natural ingredients to preserve food freshness using chemical-free edible coating solutions to prolong fruit and vegetables shelf life. Let's welcome Kunurapat from inaugural.
Hello everyone, I'm Job Narapat, CEO and co-founder of Food AgTech, a food tech startup company. And today I'm going to present you our breakthrough technology that can solve the big problem of food industry and their supply chain. Along the past 7 quarters, we are successfully to increase 11x number of buying customers, 6.9x value quoted fresh produce in 9 countries that our applied fresh produce be exported to. And more than 80 leading organizations already validated and applied Eden solution on their supply chain line. The problem that we try to solve is the food loss that occur around 20 to 50% along the food supply chain. And the most important thing is, it's also limit them to distribute that good quality fresh produce to the local destination. We propose our chemical-free edible coating solution with Thai FDA approved to solve this big problem. By just simply spraying or dipping our solution on the surface of fresh produce, it will create a invisible film that can regulate the inflow and outflow of gases and water, and the result, any fruit, vegetable, or industrial produce can be extended shelf life up to 5 times longer. It can also delay the microbiome occurring and maintaining the nutrition and quality of fresh produce. So we compare to the competitor that provided in the market today. We are not only superior in terms of capability, but we are also more easy to use, with more safety from Thai FDA certification, and we are ongoing process to get more local FDA from Japan, South Korea, and the Philippines FDA office. And compared to the leading competitor at APAC Science, we are also superior in terms of the number of applicable produce. We are more Asian market fit, as we are not require any advanced or complex equipment or tools. And we can be able to apply in more wide range in the supply chain from upstream to downstream. As today, we target 4 strategic key food industry, and when compared to the cost that they have to invest in us, they will get return in the export scenario about 12.9x. And for domestic scenario, they still get 7.2x in return when compared to the cost that they have to invest. For the business model in Thailand, we do direct sales to the key strategic customer as hypermarket, retailer, and exporter, and we charge them the product fee and advisory fee. And for the global level, we plan to expand the coverage by partnership and licensing model. We also plan to expand our use case to hold more type of food as meat, poultry, seafood, and flour. And I cannot do this by myself only, but we have a strong team. I'm Job Narapat with more than 10 years experience in business development. We also have good support from science team as Dr. Sivat and Mr. Sharif, who is the co-inventor of the first and second patented formula. For the next step to achieve our goal, we want to raise $3 million that will be used 60% to expand the formula development to cover meat, poultry, seafood, and flour. 25% to scale up our production capacity to reach 3.45 million liters monthly. And 15% will be used to expand our commercial team to cover to 6 countries by set up Mall 5 representative office. If you want to know us more, please contact us at contact@edenagritech.com. And that is us. Thank you.
Moving on to our next segment, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the Chief Strategy and Innovation Officer of Sime Darby Plantation. For more than a decade, Sime Darby Plantation remains the world's largest palm oil plantation company by its planted area and the world's largest producer of certified and sustainable palm oil. Let's hear more about their vision on how they build a resilient and sustainable agri-food supply chains in the post-COVID era from our fireside chat with Dr. Shariman Alwani.
Hi, and welcome to our Plug and Play Fireside Chat on the section of enhancing the innovation for productive and sustainable food supply chains post-COVID. My name is Per Wanbisa-Wonggasit, and I'll be your host for today. Joined with us is Dr. Shariman Alwani of Sime Darby Plantations. Please welcome Dr. Alwani.
Hello, hello, Per, and participants of the Plug and Play Summit. Thank you very much for inviting me.
It is great to have you today. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Well, before we deep dive into the topic, could you tell us more about your role as the Chief Strategy and Innovation Officer, as well as being the head of transformation for Europe, Middle East, and Africa for Sime Darby Oils International? What do you do there?
Thank you, Per. Thank you, Per. As Per mentioned, I'm head of strategy and innovation in Sime Darby Plantation, but also taking on the role of transformation officer in Europe. So in this role, mainly I try to drive the innovation programs in Sime Darby Plantation, and also to make sure that the execution and commercialization of all these programs are indeed happening, and also to strategize in terms of how innovation and the corporate blueprint actually is aligned. So a large part of my work now in innovation is mainly in terms of working with our digital team, with our research and development team, as well as in HR to actually drive the change in culture and innovation, and also very, very specific projects that we are driving, which I hope to be able to talk to you a bit more about today.
Well, as we all know, palm oil is the most effectively produced vegetable oil on the planet. But the biggest challenge humankind is facing is by 2050, the world's population is going to exceed to 9 billion. And to feed that number of people, we have to double the amount of food we are producing right now. And since Sime Darby Plantation is building innovation into its organizational DNA for over a decade now, how can innovation help to address the challenges of food security for a rapidly growing world population?
Okay, so let me address, first of all, I think that the key challenges in our supply chain right now in terms of revolves around two things. One is actually the production. In palm oil especially, yields across the industry, across all the regions that are producing palm oil have rather stagnated. Okay, so in terms of the level of production, the productivity has stagnated, and as a result of that, you're also seeing higher cost of production in palm oil. It is still the cheapest edible oil available, but in terms of cost, if we do not address the issues on yields and the cost, those are the biggest challenges. The cost of production will also tend to be higher. will grow higher. On top of that, you're also seeing increasing focus on issues regarding climate change and especially on sustainability on palm oil. So
Right.
that issue alone is a critical issue for us to address, and one of the biggest challenges in the sector. So we want to be able to produce more with what we have, with the land that we have, while also addressing some of the more sustainability issues that we are seeing. So we want to produce more with whatever we have now. So the focus for us in terms of challenges have to be in terms of how do we improve our yields and how do we reduce our cost
Yep.
and how we do this sustainably.
Right. And along the agri-food supply chain from farm to table, where do you see the new opportunities for innovation despite the current pandemic? Could you tell us some use cases on what emerging technologies show the greatest potential in driving productivity and sustainability based on Sandabi plantation approach?
Oh, absolutely, Per. I think COVID has the pandemic has actually helped the industry to move along faster along the innovation curve in this sense, yeah. And if you look at the opportunities that are there, and these opportunities come across both on the upstream side as well as the downstream side and across the palm oil value chain. For example, if you look at upstream, you look at the potential of the planting material itself, yeah, the seeds that we use. Okay, for us, one of the breakthrough innovations that we have successfully done is in terms of our seed innovation and genomic research that we have done, genome seeds that we have planted in our estates. So these are all already in commercialization stage, in commercial stage. So we have done that, and we hope to be able to plant all of Malaysia with these innovative, higher yielding seeds by 2025. Further in upstream, if you look, there are a lot of technologies that we are looking at right now, and the pandemic itself has put us focus more on, let's say, more the traditional issues in plantation, more on harvesting technologies and evacuation. We are looking at ideas. We're trying to get ideas on how can we look at, harvesting technologies using autonomous robotics, autonomous harvesting techniques, and laser, for example. Yeah. And then secondly, you're also looking at precision agriculture. How can we apply IoT and digitalization into our estates and make sure that all these are able to help us with our productivity, both in our mills and our estates. So that's one of the key areas that we have looked at in upstream. In downstream and across the value chain, and I'm going to tie this all with sustainability later on, our focus has always been on how can we make our refineries and our mills much smarter, especially using digitalization tools and techniques and approaches. And then we have also looked at digitalization in terms of how can we improve our pricing and trading mechanisms. Can we create more value out of that, out of the data that we have? We have accumulated so much data over the past 50, 60 years of our operations. How can we make use of that, of our trading? And then third area is on shipping and logistics. We have done a few pilot studies now with different companies to see how we can work better and in our shipping and logistics. Yeah. So these are two, I guess, if you look at it generally, two of the key areas. And the final objective, of course, is to make sure that all this help us to improve our yields, reduce our cost, and on the downstream side, on the sustainability side, the ability for us to actually trace each drop of oil that we produce back to the estates that we have, because more and more of our customers are requesting that we are able to trace the products. So traceability is one of the key components of sustainability here for us.
All right. So thank you so much for sharing your insight. And let's talk more a little bit about our role of partnership. So, what role do regional and global partnerships play in driving technology innovation along the Asia's agri-food value chain? Perhaps you can also tell us how is innovation is changing the way that you deal with the key stakeholders in the supply chain, from the upstream all the way to downstream production.
Okay. I'll address the partnerships first. Is very early on when we started this, we realized one key aspect is that while we know what's happening in our industry, we don't know what we don't know. We don't know what's happening outside the industry. Okay,
Right.
so one of the first things we did was, okay, how can we get our problems out to the open to reach as many people, as many startups, as many of the innovative communities out there to get solutions to the problems that we have. Okay, so as you know, we partnered up with Plug and Play, and we have, as a result of this, been able to reach out to some of these companies and startups, and in areas like upstream technology for harvesting and all that, and also in downstream. More importantly for us is that the technologies that we're looking at may not reside within our industry. It may be outside of the industry. So that's why partnerships with, say, Plug and Play, for example, is very, very critical for us to reach out. And then as a result of that, we are now much more open, for example, to work and have conduct JVs, for example, with some of these startups. So we are very open to consider localized or very specific detailed partnerships with all the companies that we have in Asia Pacific or even outside of Asia. And one of the things that we have done is we've given out our problem statements across various platforms, including Plug and Play. And more, we are looking for partners who is actually based in Asia, who have the technologies and who can help us in Asia.
Well, great. Thank you so much, Dr. Shariman, for sharing your insight and experience in facing digital transformation. I hope today's session triggers all stakeholders' interest to form a collaborative partnership with the emphasis on traceability to transform the operation of food producers in order to keep up with the demand from the consumer side. Thank you so much for joining with us today.
Thank you. Thank you, Pam.
Next startup pitches on the list will be featuring on waste to value and retail technology. For our seventh startup, we now have Green Covery from the waste to value space. Green Covery developed a brand new technology that helps food manufacturers recover valuable products from their side streams. Let's give it up for Carlos from Green Covery.
Hi there, my name is Carlos. I'm one of the founders of Green Covery. In our company, what we do is we upcycle ingredients out of food company side streams. And why are we doing this? Because the food industry is producing a lot of food waste and is looking for options to upcycle their side streams. But it's a really difficult road to navigate. We're helping our customers to not only increase their revenue, but also reduce their environmental footprint. We do this by doing three main things. The first one is we bring our own novel technology to separate these ingredients. We bring market access to the ingredients that are being produced, and also we help in the implementation on site of these ingredients. Why are we doing this? We're doing it because we want to make upcycled ingredients mainstream, and that's what is currently the case. That is a niche market being approached by some companies. We want to help our customers to upcycle what is valuable in their side streams. We hope with many food companies, we help them to upcycle ingredients like fruity flavors, amino acids, and fibers. And we develop together the application for their side streams. We go all the way from creating really positive and good business cases to creating samples and then further on for the implementation. We have many ingredients in different parts of our development. We have some fruity flavors like the banana flavor that we're producing 1 ton actually this week. And we're also making some amino acids for the supplement industry and also for the plant-based alternatives was flavors like umami extracts. How are we doing this? We have a novel technology In our novel technology, we recovered ionic species like amino acids, organic acids, and bacterial derivatives. And we use a novel technology to produce high purity ingredients with low environmental impact. We believe that we are clever in three main axes. We provide a novel upcycle technology to our customers, but as well market access of the ingredients and where it makes sense to bring this ingredient into. And also we share the profit by implementing it together with our partners. We are a group of enthusiastic engineers that believe that we can make a difference by helping our environment by reducing the size that is being produced in the food industry, but also upcycling the ingredients. We have a mix of different expertise in our company, from market access, sales, but also technical knowledge into how to implement our technology to different types of size frames. So we are enabled by different companies and institutions. We're happy to be here with Plug and Play, which has been really useful for us to get access to different markets and new customers for our technology. So I'm happy to discuss with you afterwards, and happy to see options to upcycle ingredients and make our food industry more sustainable. Thank you.
Next up, we have Mako. Mako is helping the globe achieve zero food waste by providing 24-hour on-site composting solutions for all kinds of businesses and homes. Joining us from Malaysia, Chelsea.
Good day to everyone. My name is Chelsea, founder of Mako. Today I would like to share something that is not just wasting money, but is also costing Earth. Let's look into some alarming statistics on food waste. Every year, 1.3 billion tons of food waste is generated globally. And it would be the third largest greenhouse gas emitter after US and China if food waste is considered as a country. Now, when you look at this chart, you will see that this is the common practice of food waste management, where food waste is collected and then is transported directly to the landfills. So Mako provides a better concept by valorizing food waste, by recovering food waste, then turning it into compost for organic farming. And this is a circular economy concept and a closed-loop solution. Mako has developed a sustainable cleantech composting solution, synergizing both biological and mechanical process to turn food waste into compost or liquid. Our solution takes in all types of food waste, ranging from food peels to bones to expired or spoiled food. So no extra sorting is required, no extra drying agent is required, and the process only takes 24 hours. This is a simple image showing you what can be composted in our Mako machines. If you have food packaging made of natural products, you may also put them into the machine. So our technology is scalable, and our commercial units ranges from 30 liters to 10 tons. It's easy to adopt according to budget or corporation's objectives. We have also been providing outright purchase and hire purchase options. But since the pandemic, we have made implementation much easier for our customers. We now offer rental options where machine can be refurbished after completing a contract and goes out for rental again. So here are some of the segments we have covered over the years. As our machines are modular, therefore it's suitable for restaurants, hotels, hospitals, food courts, factory canteens, food chain outlets, and even property developers. So there are 5 of the UN SDG goals that we support, but the most significant impact would be climate change, because composting food waste without technology can reduce greenhouse gas significantly. So when coming to combating climate change, many will choose to go for tree planting options. However, composting solution has been proven to reduce greenhouse gas by 66%. It shows that by composting 1 ton of food waste with Mako technology helps to reduce greenhouse gas amounting to 398 annual absorption. So just to mention a few of our existing sites, this convention center has been using our composter for 4 years. Other than the environmental impacts, it has also been helped to reduce their haulage cost by 30%. This hotel has shown an actual closed-loop concept where greenhouse gas is reduced and compost was generated for sale and social programs. You may also implement at your factory canteen to create a positive impact to the environment. Even gas stations are now moving towards zero food waste out of their premise. We are also very happy that many farmers today are more receptive in the usage of compost in replacement of chemical fertilizers to generate higher value crops and to prevent their land from drying or dying. So ever since we started deploying our first machine in 2015, our effort has been recognized locally and internationally. So MECO has also been selected by global impact partners to scale and connect with corporations globally. We gained so much exposure internationally during our UN summit at New York, after which we have been continuously handpicked by Barclays and World Economic Forum to help us scale for the impact we created to the environment. So here we are, both of us. We are the co-founders, myself and May. May helps in the research and development as well as the sales and marketing. So here's some good news. We will be launching our smart composting system and our Munchpot, which is the home portable composter. So we hope to see you soon and do connect with us. That's all from me today. Thank you very much.
Our second to last startup is from the retail technology space. Vispera is a retail image recognition and analytics company serving retailers, giving businesses a digitized view of their stores and boosting revenue in the process. Let's welcome Dr. Aitul.
My name is Aitul Aichel. I am the co-founder and co-CEO of Vispera, which is an AI company focusing in the retail domain. Vispera is an image processing machine learning company currently operating in 25 countries with more than 200% year-on-year growth. There are a lot of problems in retail, largest being out of stock. On the average, 4 to 12% of items are out of stock, resulting in over $1.5 trillion of revenue loss. Other problems include planogram non-compliance, price non-compliance, promotion non-compliance. With the pandemic, the importance of solving these problems became more important since physical stores are serving both online and offline customers. What Vispera does is automate these audit processes and boost revenue. In our current projects, we have seen 40 to 60% time savings, 12 to 15% reduction in audit cost, 15 to 18% increase in sales revenue. If we look at the value creation process, we input huge amounts of data from retail assets like shelves, cooler, promotional place. We process these data using our patented AI algorithms, and we produce actionable insights and alert appropriate people. Currently, we have two products: StoreSense, where images are taken manually via handheld devices, and ShelfSight, where the images are collected via fixed cameras in the store. We are data source agnostic, so the data can also come from drones, robots, etc. We carry out comprehensive data analytics and display them in a dashboard, which can easily be customized for custom KPIs the customer may have. We have extensive partner program. We have technology partners like Microsoft, HP, NVIDIA, Cisco. We have resellers in various countries like in Brazil, Israel, Germany, Poland. And we have strategic partners like Zebra, Crossmark, IV Mobility, Smollen, Ipsos, etc. Zebra has tested our solution very extensively, benchmarked it with our competitors, chose us as their global partner. Similarly, HP, Crossmark, IV Mobility, Smollen chose us as their global partner. Our core customers are CPGs and retailers, but we also reach our customers via merchandisers, audit companies like Ipsos Nielsen, and consultants. Our StoreSense product is currently used in 25 countries with clients like Coca-Cola, Unilever, Philip Morris, Henkel, P&G, Pepsi, Carlsberg, etc. And our ShelfSight product is installed in our partners and customers. We have a land and expand strategy. For example, Coca-Cola started in one country and expanded to 7. Unilever started with 1,000 visits per month and expanded to 100,000 visits and now expanding geographically. With our existing clients, there is a potential of reaching $80 million ARR. We have a very strong unit economics. Our gross margin is currently 70%, which we expect to reach around 85% with the expansion of shelf life. Our CLV CAC ratio is around 3.5 now, and we expect it to reach 5.5 within a few years. We estimate the addressable market of our existing and upcoming products to be around $100 billion. When we compare Vispera to its competitors, we excel in feature breadth and customization. We're currently the only company who can do product recognition on the edge. We have excellent customer support, which is proven by our zero churn, and we have the highest accuracy and diversity with respect to our competitors. Looking at some specific competitors, Trax Retail has received over $1 billion of investment, but they have high customer churn. They rely heavily on back office. They use thousands of people in India and Sri Lanka to manually process every image. We will now be raising $10 million, which will be mostly used for market expansion, especially in the US and Western Europe. Our ARR has been increasing exponentially, which we expect to grow similarly in the future. The company was founded by myself and Ceyhun Durakakgül. I'm a PhD from Brown University, professor of computer vision and machine learning for around 30 years, founded a vision company called Vistec, sold it to a German company with 26x. Ceyhun is a PhD from France. He was the R&D director of my previous company, and we have a very strong team of people in various positions. For example, our CTO is a PhD from Johns Hopkins, and our managing director of the Americas is the former senior vice president of Symphony AI Retail. We also have a very strong international advisory board consisting of people with over 20 years of experience in key positions in top retail companies.
Our last startup is Data AI, which is a game-changing cloud video analytics platform that empowers offline retailers for data innovation. Finally, let's bring it up from Miranda from Data AI.
Company that empower offline business for data transformation. When offline business adapt to traditional data solution, what is waiting for them is hassle hardware installation, long integration time, and huge financial burden. What's worse is with one data in hand, business struggles to drive value out of it. And this is how we come up with the idea to design Cyclops, which is supposed to solve all the pain points for our users. Cyclops is empowered by some of the most cutting-edge technologies in the world. Kubernetes ensures the stability of our cloud service, TRTIS makes our AI model more efficient, and CRNN makes data analysis accurate under all video conditions. All these technology ensure us to have competitive edge in both pricing and deliverable quality. Utilizing one thing that every store has, which is surveillance camera. We stream the video up to our cloud, and our AI model will analyze and visualize all data types from traffic to demographic to behaviors. And all these data will also enable our users to conduct remote real-time management and business intelligence report to do better strategy decisions. So in individual retail store scenario, Cyclops will give manager a full view of the shop performance. For example, the traffic and demographic trends, the popular product mix, and the customer gather point on heat map. All this information can help manager view their store at an in-depth level and make operational improvement, such as changing the store layout or launching new promotions. In the shopping mall scenario, Cyclops has the capability to deliver structured analysis on their complicated store layout. For example, benchmarking different tenants, or monitoring facility usage rate, or even evaluating the pop-up efficiency of different stores. All this information we gather will unite all operation units together and give the decision maker a better information of the next strategy direction. So let's now look at one of the use case together. In this case, our user is a casual wear chain in Thailand. They reach out to Cyclops to understand the problem behind their low sales. And through Cyclops heat map analysis, they actually discovered that the reason behind the low sales is because the customer gathered only around the entrance area and not coming into the store to purchase more products. So through changing their layout and product placement plan, we successfully help our clients to improve our sales for 7% in the next upcoming months. So far, Cyclops have been working together with more than 30 retail international brands and main shopping malls. And with 90% of retention rate, we're looking at a 700% growth rate within 1 year of launching. In the future, Cyclops will continue to provide excellent technology solutions to all offline users and remain as the main player in the business AI industry. This marked the end of my presentation. Thank you very much, and feel free to reach out to me through the contact link if you have more questions. Thank you very much.
This now concludes our Food and AgTech Accelerator program. If you wish to be connected to any of the startups or to know more about the program, please feel free to reach out to me or the rest of the Plug and Play team, as we would be more than happy to connect you with our startups in the batch. And of course, thank you so much for joining us and enjoy the rest of the summit.